Welcome to today's webinar on immigration to Canada, featuring Attorney Joseph Rebibo. Whether you're considering making Canada your new home or simply curious about the immigration process, you're in the right place. This session will cover everything you need to know about immigration to Canada, from the basics to the more complex questions. Plus, we'll have a Q&A segment where you can get personalized answers directly from an expert. Thank you for joining us, and let's dive into the opportunities that await you in Canada.
Welcome to Rebibo Legal's webinar on immigration to Canada. Thank you everybody for joining us. I hope everyone is doing well and having a good last month of 2024 and enjoying the last few weeks, few days of this year. We are going to discuss several things in this webinar. Some of you have been with us before, some of you are new, some of you are interested, of course, in beginning your process. Some of you have already started your process and everything. We're going to try to go through several different important points. I'm going to introduce myself a little bit, then explain a little bit about how important it is to verify who you're dealing with, to make sure that you're dealing with a lawyer that is legally able to help you immigrate to Canada. I will explain you all of these different things, and I will dive in a little bit to the different type of options on how you can come to Canada, what the different type of options are, how we can help you, and then we will leave a good amount of time towards the end of the webinar, maybe in about 20 minutes or so, for a question period. Now, it's important to for the questions to begin even from now, to start asking questions in the chat. When I finish explaining the different options, explaining about us, about myself and everything, I will go through all the questions in the chat. I will answer them one by one. If there's something that I'm not able to answer, I promise you I will get back to you and everything, but I will try to take from the questions that you're asking and try to expand on those questions to try to get into little different areas of immigration based on your questions, based on your situation, to be able to help you as much as possible, for you to feel comfortable enough to begin your process with us, or begin your process on general and coming to Canada. Of course, as an immigration lawyer in Canada, I do believe for the majority of the people that are here that it is the best option that you could have in general in the world to immigrate. Canada is the second biggest country in the world. There are only 40 million people compared to the United States. It's a smaller country. There are 400 million people. So Canada's a lot of space, a lot of options for bringing people. There's a big budget in general in Canada to bring workers, bring people from abroad, eventually get permanent residency and everything. So we will try to dive into a few of those options, and hopefully you will feel comfortable enough to begin your process with us so that we can move forward. Now, as some of you may know, my name is Joseph Rebibo. I'm a lawyer in Montreal in Canada. I specialize in immigration law. It's been several years now, and the majority of our clients are internationals like you, people that want to come to Canada to either study, work, or gain permanent residency in Canada. That is what we do. That is what we specialize in. We specialize in people that are coming from abroad that want to know how they can come to Canada. We specialize in giving you the best option available based on the 50, 100 different types of options that are available in Canada in general for everybody. What are the best options for you? And that is how we begin the process. We work on a few steps, total process for you to be able to come to Canada. The first step being eligibility, which is the most important step in general. The most important step, as I said, the eligibility, to find out what you are eligible for, what you can do in Canada. After you find out what you're eligible for, at that point in time, at that point, you can decide afterwards, okay, I will choose this option. I will decide to move forward with this work option, this study option, this permanent residency option, whatever it may be. These are the options that we will give you, and at the end of the day, it is your decision, it is your plan. We just hope that we're able to clarify enough enough how you'll be able to come to Canada, and that we are the ones that, of course, that could help you do that. Once we get on our phone call, after you begin your process, within 2 or 3 days, you will get an eligibility report. This eligibility report will explain to you all the different types of options. We will get on another phone call where we will explain to you all the different types of options in the eligibility report. We will explain to you the advantages, disadvantages, the costs, the delays, the chance of success, everything you need to know. And then we will decide together what options you'll be able to choose for us to move forward, begin your process, and hopefully see you in Canada as soon as possible. That's a little bit about us, how we work, what the process is, and everything. Of course, the majority of you, I believe, is talking to one of our agents in our law firm. If you ever want to confirm that the agent works with us, works with me, you could always send me a message, send me an email, send me a message, or even on the chat here, and I will confirm with you that they work with our law firm, and you can have full confidence in their abilities to begin the process with you. Normally, if you receive an email from somebody with rebibolegal.ca at rebibolegal.ca, normally there shouldn't be any problem. You can move forward with them as they are associated with our law firm, and we create an email for them, so they are working with our law firm. Something very important, the majority I wanted to speak about in this webinar is because the majority of our clients, I would say probably at least 50% of our clients have at one point in time before they started the process with us, and they're very happy that they started the process with us, but in the past they were scammed by either an agency, a company, a consultant, a fake consultant, or something in the past. It's very sad, unfortunate, but the problem always arises. It's always the same basic problem, is that they did not do the proper verification to know that they are dealing with a license, to even know that they're dealing with a real person. That is why we're doing these webinars, so you could see us, you could see me, the lawyer that will take care of your file, to know who we are. We are transparent with everything. If you search us up online, you'll be able to find us on our website. You'll be able to come to our office also to see us. Everything is open. When you start your immigration process with whoever you speak with, that person should be able to answer all your questions no matter what, and we are here to do that. We are here to answer all your questions. We're here to guide you from A to Z, from the beginning of your process till the end of the process, no matter what. The most important thing to verify is that the lawyer that will take care of your file is licensed and is legally able to help you immigrate to Canada. So specifically for me, I speak English and I speak French. We are in Montreal. We are in the province of Quebec. I am a licensed registered lawyer in Quebec. So you'll be able to find me licensed lawyer on the Bar Association of Quebec's website. To be able to do that, you can ask the agent should have showed you how to research us, how to find our company also that is registered with the company registry in Canada and in Quebec, in the province of Quebec. And I will just show you, just in terms of finding me as a lawyer, this website that you see on the screen is the Bar Association of Quebec's website. Now, this is not our website. This is not a public website. This is a governmental association website that governs all the lawyers that are in Quebec at the moment. Now, even if I'm a Quebec lawyer, immigration lawyer, if you're a lawyer in one province, you are able to obviously work in all the provinces. That means wherever you want to come into Canada, we can work in, of course, all of Canada. Now, just if you go down, now to find this website, if you wanted to, you can just go on Google and type in "find a lawyer in Quebec," and they'll bring you to this page. You will write my last name. You'll find it like that, and then my first name. And you'll click on search. It's in French here, but you can do it in English as well. Do a search and you'll be able to find my full name over here. And the most important thing is the information that is associated. So you have my email, which you can send an email any time that I can confirm with you. But this is the email that is associated to my license as a lawyer in Quebec. As you can see, I'm an immigration lawyer. You can see our office. As I said before, if you have any family, you have any friends that are in Canada that want to come visit our office, you are always able to do that. We're always available to come to greet you, to help you out if you need that extra push in order to verify legitimacy. This is very important. I will agree with anyone that wants to do the most possible research in order to make sure that we are the right people that are able to help you legally and everything. So I totally agree with that. That is what everyone should do. As I said, a lot of our clients have been scammed in the past, and they just didn't do the basic research on finding if this is the right person, if this is a real person, if they're licensed, if they're a company in Canada. For us, you're able to find all these things online very easy. If you need help doing that, we are here to help you as well. But it's very easy to find it, and to start a process with somebody that you cannot find these things is just a recipe for disaster. Because if someone is legitimately able to help you, there's nothing to hide. So you should be able to answer all your questions. Anything that you're not sure of, we'll be able to answer, and everybody should be able to answer those things no matter what. That is regarding our law firm in terms of scams, legitimacy, and everything. I will delve in a little bit into different types of options on how you can immigrate to Canada, or the options in general. Of course, everybody has their specific situation. Everyone's specific qualifications and experiences give them different options on how they can immigrate to Canada. But I will give a little bit of an overview. In the meantime, as I said in the beginning of the webinar, if you have any questions, any questions in general regarding your situation, regarding questions in general, anything, please start writing it in the chat even now, so that when I finish what I'm going to explain regarding just general options, which will take maybe about the next 10 minutes or so, I will be able to delve in directly into your questions and answer them one by one. I will start from the beginning and answer all of them. You can start as of now, so that we don't lose time, and we're able to answer as many questions as possible at the end of this webinar. So in general, in terms of immigration to Canada, the goal at the end of the day for everybody, which we understand as an immigration lawyer, as I said, we work with internationals that want to come to Canada. We understand that the goal at the end of the day is to gain permanent residency. Now, there are two different ways to be able to come to Canada. You can come to Canada as a permanent resident directly, or you can come to Canada as a temporary resident. Ideally, of course, coming to Canada directly as a permanent resident is the ideal. You don't have to go through it. You skip basically every step in order to eventually get to that goal. But of course, it is not the easiest thing to be able to be eligible for, permanent residency without any experience in Canada. As a temporary resident in Canada, of course, that means that eventually you have an expiry date. But when you start the process with us, we will be giving you options on how you can come to Canada, where eventually, without having to leave Canada, you will be able to apply for permanent residency based on your qualifications. Those are the options that we will be able to give you, and those are the options that you will have in front of you for you to be able to decide before you begin the process. So as I said, two different options: temporary residency or permanent residency. Right now, in general, the main program for permanent residency in Canada is Express Entry. Express Entry is a program where you submit an application and you wait to be chosen by the government based on your qualifications, based on your work, based on your level of education, and mostly based on your professional work experience. There are specific work that detail that a specific province is looking for example, truck drivers. If you're a truck driver, you could be eligible to be able to come work and gain permanent residency in the province of Alberta, for example. So each province, out of all of them, they all have specific jobs that they want to recruit to be able to come to Canada and give permanent residency for that province. Now, of course, eventually you can be able to move anywhere in Canada, but in the beginning, when you come, you're going to be selected by a province to be able to work in that province. Now, that is very important because it covers a broad range of jobs, but you need to be able to start the process with us to see where exactly you stand in terms of your job, in terms of your professional experience, what province you can immigrate to, what province you can have an option to immigrate to, based on your professional occupation. Now, in general, you're able to find your occupation on the government website, okay, which is very important, and it gives you a little bit of an overview of the different types of salaries that are offered in Canada. It gives you an overview of the demand that is in Canada and with different type of provinces. I will send a link to the chat this link to the chat, it's to the Job Bank website in Canada. The Job Bank website is a governmental, it's like from Statistics Canada, where you're able to see all the statistics based on the different occupations in Canada. So this is very important because Canada right now is really veering towards bringing in workers to Canada. There was a lot of news over the past few months regarding quotas and immigration to Canada. They're trying to limit people and all that. There's a big misconception because people think that no, they're not allowing people in Canada anymore. That is not true. That'll never happen for the moment at all because of the amount of people that Canada needs to bring in terms of growing their population. The problem over the last few years is that Canada had a lot of illegal immigration. That means Canada had a lot of people that came in and applied for refugee status, came in through the border and applied for refugee status, and this caused a big problem in Canada regarding the refugees. Canada is trying to focus now on legal immigration, and legal immigration is going to explode, and that's why you need to begin your process as soon as possible to be able to be included in this wave of legal immigration, where Canada is trying to limit as much as possible refugee claims, the illegal immigration, but they're trying to bring in workers legally in Canada because since the pandemic, there's been a lot of problems with hiring Canadians, hiring jobs, people to do work in Canada. So your chances and your option for legal immigration is very high at the moment, and it's important to see where you stand in terms of your qualifications, your job, where you could be, and that is starting the process with us, getting to your eligibility, seeing what you're eligible for based on your job, and where you can apply for, where we can apply for either permanent residency or for a job, or for studies, whatever it may be. There are over 50 different types of programs in Canada based on the different provinces. Each province has its own programs, each province has its own job opportunities, and this is very important for you to be able to know what your options are. And you will not be able to know these options just by searching online. It is way too confusing. There are way too many scams. It's important to use a licensed lawyer, whether you use us or you use another lawyer. I hope that you do the proper verifications, but it's important to use a lawyer. It is worth it. It'll save you a lot of time and money in general. People think that paying lawyers is a waste of money, but they don't realize that it is not, because if you don't, you are spending way more time, money, and energy for a result that probably will not come to fruition at the end. That is a little bit of an overview in general regarding the different options for Anglophone immigrants to Canada. We did a webinar also in French before that was more centralized on French speakers. There are different options for French speakers, different options for English speakers in Canada. So the general opportunities for English speakers in Canada come a lot with work opportunities, study opportunities, and legal immigration. You want to come to Canada legally, you want to stay in Canada legally, you want to follow the rules. There is a very big, wide range of opportunities for you and options for you to be able to come to Canada and have those options. Again, as I said, a very big misconception that in Canada they're just stopping to allow people. It's not the situation at all. There just was a big issue in Canada for illegal immigration that the government is cracking down on, which makes perfect sense. The United States is doing the same, but immigration is a very central point of the Canadian government at the moment, and it's important to try to take advantage of this possibility as soon as possible as well. I will start answering some questions, and based on the questions I'll try to expand on them, and hopefully we'll be able to learn together a little bit more about a specific situation, what type of options are available, so you can begin your process and feel comfortable with us that we're able to help you to bring you to Canada. Now, first one, how much cost for the process? In general, it's very hard for me. I cannot tell you the cost of an immigration process to Canada. It really depends on what you are applying for. The cost of an immigration process is based on the work that we are doing. It's not just a number we invent that just comes out of nowhere. It depends on your specific situation as well, based on the amount of work that needs to be done in order for us to complete your file, to be able to get an approved visa for yourself. So the cost depends. It could range from 1,000 to 4,000. It depends on your situation, depends on your family members, depends on how many people there are. But at the end of the day, it's really based on the amount of work that is being done for your file. Good day, Joseph. Thank you for this Zoom session. I have over 26 years work experience in IT and telecoms, currently in the US. I am 53 years old. What category do I have 100% of migrating to Canada? First of all, it's very important you understand nobody has a 100% chance of coming to Canada. That will never be the case. If someone calls you and tells you, we will bring you to Canada 100%, it's guaranteed, pay us, you will guaranteed come to Canada, it is a scam. Nobody can tell you that. It is illegal to tell you that. Nobody has a 100% chance of coming. That is just not realistic and is not legal, and you will get scammed if you decide to go with somebody that guarantees you anything. We are a law firm. We do the proper work for you to be able to obtain a visa, but at the end of the day, it is the government that makes the final decision of your process. Now, when you begin the process with us, we are able to give you your chance of success, to be able to give you, based on other data from before, what are the chances of you getting accepted, what are the chances of your process working out. That we are able to do, but to be able to guarantee you something, tell you 100%, that will never happen. That is not possible. If you have a lot of work experience, as you say, you have 26 years of work experience in Canada in IT and telecom. IT, very big domain in Canada, in the world in general. It is important to see, based on your work experience, what qualifications you have in terms of study, in terms of your work experience, what your job description is in general, to see which province you could be eligible for, which province you can go to in order to get chosen from that province to be able to come work, gain permanent residency in Canada. In general, everybody has the possibility to do equivalences in studies. If you want to do an equivalence for your degree in Canada, that is always a possibility. But based on all the other types of programs in Canada, whether work or permanent residency, we have to really take your eligibility, see your CV, see what your job duties are, and see if you connect with one of the many different options in different provinces regarding jobs and what the province needs to hire for them to continue to grow different businesses, startups, small businesses in Canada. They need to be able to bring workers to be able to work for those companies. So when you start your process, we'll be able to tell you exactly where you stand in terms of your work experience, your studies, and where you could be able to immigrate to. However, I am still processing my legal document in the U.S. now. The immigration to the U.S. and the immigration to Canada has no connection with each other. Of course, if you get refused in the U.S., you will have to declare it that you got refused in the U.S. on your application to Canada. But in terms of applying to the U.S. and your application being processed and applying in Canada, there's no connection. You're able to apply for both. It doesn't matter at all. Hi, my name is Jacob Kamara. Hi, Jacob. Nice to meet you. I am from Senegal, West Africa, but living in New York. Okay, that's great. If you're from Senegal and you speak French and you speak English, in general, you have a lot of options in terms of immigrating to Quebec. I'm assuming si vous parlez français, if you speak French, you will have a lot of options of immigrating to Quebec, immigrating to Canada in general, because you have that French addition with your English as well. So you have more options for a specific province. As I said from the beginning, based on your qualifications, your experiences, your options for different provinces vary. That's why the most important part of this process, of this immigration process to Canada, is the eligibility. The eligibility will be able to tell you, based on your qualifications, which province is best for you. Again, Canada is an open country. There are no borders. You can go from one province to the next. But when you're immigrating, you need to show the intention that you want to live in the province that is going to choose you, in the province that you are applying for. But after you stay in that province for a certain amount of time, you're able to decide afterwards, okay, you can go wherever you want. Canada's an open country. When you get citizenship or permanent residency in Canada, it is for all of Canada, not for a specific province. Can you evaluate my CV to see my eligibility before I can commit to embark on the process? There's high chance of immigrating. So it's important to understand, Henry, immigration to Canada is a serious process. It is an important process, and it's something that you are starting in order to be able to change your life. You want to move from where you are. You want to move from the country that you are in because you want a better life. The investment is the most important thing into completing this goal of changing your life, going to Canada, a country in America that you have the opportunity eventually to also go to the United States as well. This is worth the investment. Nobody works for free, so unfortunately I cannot do your eligibility before you begin the process. No lawyer will do that. Legally, I can't even do that because then I'm exposing myself in general to possible problems because you're not even a client yet and I'm giving you legal advice. The reason why we do the steps in 2 different steps is that the first step is a very minimal cost for you to be able to find out what you're eligible for and how we can move forward. And the second step, when you know exactly what is going to happen, that's when you're beginning your process and that's when you know. But the first step of the process, and I think the agent should have told you also, if you're not eligible for any different option, we will reimburse you as well. So the idea is that you need to be able to see if you're eligible, but you need to start your process to be able to see what you're eligible for. And if anyone tells you that they're going to evaluate your CV for free, they're going to evaluate your eligibility for free, and then they're going to tell you after to pay, it is going to be a scam. You're going to waste your money for no reason. It is best to pay for something and do it right than not pay for something and eventually lose money long term because you thought you got a good deal or good situation, when that is usually never the case. It is not realistic, and it is usually a dream that is not realistic. What is the cost for the eligibility? What does the eligibility entails, please? The cost of the eligibility with us is depends on if you're a family, not a family, but it usually starts at 490 euros for this first step of the process. The eligibility entails a call with myself to confirm all the details of your CV, of your personal situation. Within 2-3 days, you will get an eligibility report from our law firm detailing all the different types of options you have to be able to immigrate to Canada. Then we get on another second phone call. We will explain to you the advantages, disadvantages, the cost, the delays, the chance of success, everything you need to know. And once we explain to you everything you need to know, at that point you will make the decision if you want to start, which option you will choose, and if you will move forward. I sent my passport and ID copy already to your office because I speak to one of your agents. Okay, great. That's great. If you want to confirm that the agent works with us or anything, you can do that. That's not a problem. But the idea would be to begin your process so we can process your documents, so I can look at your documents, so we can speak, so I can write up an eligibility report. It's important to start the first step of the process. If this is something that you want to do, you want to come to Canada, you have to invest in your dream, invest in the future. And the most important thing is that is why we're doing these webinars, is to show you who we are, to show you that we are legitimate, to show you that we are licensed and that you are in good hands. If you start speaking to another agency and pay less money or something, there's a high chance that you will get scammed. This is worth the investment because you know that you're dealing with a licensed, legitimate law firm that is always here to help you, always here to answer your questions, no matter what point of the process you are in. Great. If you have any questions in the meantime, you can always let me know. I will also leave my email in the chat in case anybody has questions. If you want to confirm if you want to confirm the agent with who you are working with, you can always do that. Usually if their email ends with rebibolegal.ca, usually at that point everything is fine and you can have full confidence in them. You can move forward. Eventually, anyways, after you begin, you will be speaking to me and I will be the one that will be taking care of your process as we move forward. The cost of the eligibility is 490 euros. Depending if you're a family, it could be 690 euros, but it depends. It's between 490 and 690. Depends what the agent decides that your profile qualifies for. Any questions, please? Ben works with us. Works with us. You can have full confidence in Ben. He is a great person to help you. Okay, deal with your process and everything. I work with him directly. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. You can ask him. He is great. Hi, I'm Ibrahim. Do you know how my processes go? Well, now my passport is not with me now, but after something I get from Egypt Embassy. I don't really understand your question. Yeah, to be more specific, basically you're telling me that your passport's with the Egypt Embassy. In general, To immigrate to Canada, you need a passport. You'll need a valid passport. If you do not have a passport, it becomes very difficult in order to immigrate to Canada. Hello, thanks for your fruitful answer. I appreciate it. Thank you. I would like to ask the following points. For the minimum needed funds, if assets the house is considered non company shares or official reports can be considered. Company shares, not really. It will add to the proof of funds in order to show the government that you are financially stable enough to take care of yourself or your family in Canada. But in terms of proof itself, shares, not really. Assets like house, yes, it does, not on the actual liquid money that you're going to show the government, but it plays a very big role in the financial proof of applying for permanent residency or studies or any program that requires proof of funds. Not all programs require proof of funds. There are programs, for example, work programs that do not require proof of funds because you're coming to work in Canada. My partner is graduated from pharmacy but never worked as she worked as a marketing and supply chain manager. In this case, what should be proficient in filling the profile? I would have to look at her CV, look at exactly, even though she has a degree in pharmacy and she didn't work in it, if she's working in a field that in Canada needs a degree or not needs a degree, I need to look at all these different types of things to tell you. A general file like that, I'm not able to just tell you, okay, this is what's going to give you to Canada. That's why the amount of money that you're paying, it's not just a number that we just made up. It is equivalent to the amount of work that we do in order to give you your eligibility to come to Canada. For us to write up the report, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort to go through all your documents, your CVs and everything to be able to tell you what you're eligible for. We are from Egypt, but we live in Poland for 7 years now. I know some documents are required from Poland, but some will be required from Egypt. What should these documents from each and how they should be legalized? Normally, documents you would need from your original country of origin would be probably your birth certificate, which would need to be translated in English, which we're able to do for you as well. You will need, of course, your passport from whichever citizenship you are. Sometimes you need to have your diploma. If you have a high school diploma, if you have a higher diploma from your country of origin, you will need that as well, depending on the process that you do. But that also will just need to be translated, which we can do for you as well, which is not a problem. What are the different groups under Express Entry JAW, and when am I considered under one of them? The groups under Express Entry JAW are different every single month, depending on the different province, depending on the provinces that need certain individuals, certain levels of work experience, but it changes all the time. So like the province of Alberta could this month hire a bunch of IT workers. Then for 6 months, they won't hire IT workers. Then in 7 months, they'll do another round of IT workers. Every month it changes based on what the province needs. So when you apply, the most important thing is to apply as soon as possible. And then within your application is valid for a year. So you're able to see that throughout a whole year, normally a lot of different types of jobs are being chosen, and we're able to see from the past data when your type of job was chosen, and that's why we're able to tell you, okay, your type of job was chosen 2 times, 3 times last year. There's a very good chance of you getting chosen in this year. And I mean, paying even, this is not what the cost is, but paying even $10,000, 10,000 euros, or whatever it may be, for permanent residency in Canada is worth it, because you don't have to go through the studies that I have clients that pay $20,000, $30,000 or $10,000 to pay for studies. At least you're able to get permanent residency directly, and you avoid all these things. But most important thing is to start as soon as possible to not lose out on that opportunity. Do I need to pay the fees after assessing our founding profile? No, you need to pay fees before. We do not, of course, do not work for free. No problem. Thank you very much for your help. Thank you, Jacob. Hello, sorry for being late to attend, but please let us know about the installment payment. Our goal as an immigration law firm is to help you immigrate to Canada. We want to be able to bring as many people to Canada as possible. You can see by our reviews online, our videos. We get everyone to write a review so people can see that we are trying to bring as many people to Canada as possible, as soon as possible. We will help you financially if you have problems financially in terms of installments. There's not a problem. You can pay in installments. That is not an issue as well. Financial difficulty should never be an issue or never stop you from beginning your process to immigrate. Is it possible to travel with my cat? I saved this cat. You saved the cat life. That's very noble of you. And yes, of course, there are a few regulations on how you bring a pet over to Canada, which we will show you, we will explain to you. But of course, you'll have no problem bringing a pet into Canada. What I meant, I waited embassy to give me a passport. We'll send you a picture because I didn't have them. Not a problem. Salut, mon nom est Lama Africain. Je suis actuellement en Turquie. Je parle anglais. Il y a des avantages pour prendre des avocats. So this person asked in French, okay, then they wrote in English. If there's advantages to having a work visa. Alors en général, si vous parlez français, if you speak French, there are options specifically in the province of Quebec if you speak French. Begin your process. You're going to send your CV, all your documents over, and we'll be able to tell you that based on your situation, based on your level of English, level of French, you'll have these opportunities in Quebec or in other provinces if that is what you are looking for. So we do not do work before you start the process. That is not how anybody does. And if anyone tells you they're going to do that, it is a scam. If our diplomas are already translated in English from Egypt or the university, I need to legalize somewhere in Egypt. No, you just need to get it stamped by a legal translator. In general, if you need to legally translate the documents, you can send it to me. It's not expensive, maybe $30-$40 per page, and you can legally translate it. I'm currently residing in the UK. Can I make proof of funds from Nigeria? Yes, you can make proof of funds from anywhere. To any bank account that you have, not a problem. If it's a family bank account, if it's somebody is sponsoring you, you can make proof of funds from Nigeria, from Canada, from America, from any country. That's not a problem. My first thing is my health because I'm diabetes. Diabetes is not a problem at all. In terms of health, the only problem you have in coming to Canada based on a health problem is if it is a public risk. If your health problem is contagious or a risk to the public, in that situation, we need to verify on how you can explain to the government that you will not be a risk or whatever it may be. There are still options. But if you have something like diabetes, for example, there's not an issue at all. Here, if you don't have insurance, it's a big problem. Yes, for diabetes in general, you need to obviously pay for medication and everything. Once you come to Canada, you'll be able to get insurance. You need your own insurance in the beginning, and then eventually you'll be covered by the Canadian medical insurance, which is universally free for all Canadians. No, so if it's not in terms of health, if it's not a public risk, there is no issue. Okay, if there's a public health issue or something like that, then we look at how we can explain to the government that you will not be a burden on the Canadian government. If there's any other questions, please write it. So the getting PR and citizenship after work permit, if you have a couple of years of work experience in Canada, usually, depending on your profile, usually you'll have enough points to be able to get chosen by express entry because you get so many points for working in Canada and having a validated job offer in Canada. Usually get so many points. If that's not the case, there are different options in terms of PNP, getting chosen by the provinces that can help you get citizenship, but this will be able to tell you when you start the process. The total fees could be 490 euros between 490 to 690 euros per family. It depends, but normally it should be 490 euros depending on your situation. But that, your agent will tell you exactly how much it is. Duration of the initial work visa is usually between 2 to 3 years. It depends. As we're going to try to do much more webinars. If there is a specific topic that you would like me to talk about in the future webinars in 2025, in the new year, please tell me and I will try to do webinars based on your suggestions. That would help me out a lot also. All fees should not be paid all at once. No. You can pay in installments per month based on your financial situation. That's not a problem. What are the assessment fees? It depends on your specific type of your specific qualifications, your profile. Each profile is different. Profile is different, and that's why each profile has different fees. Okay. Now, Now, as I said, we're going to try to do much more webinars in the future and all that. It's important that you start your process as soon as possible to be able to at least understand what you're eligible for and what you can do in Canada. And right now, it's all a blur. When you go online, it's very complicated. You need to use a lawyer. Everything will be very clear. I promise you that when you get off the call, if you are not understood, not clear, we will reimburse you. That is for sure. But you need to be able to start your process, at least understand what you're eligible for. Let us explain to you what the options are. And if you are happy, then we begin the process and hopefully you will start your process with us. Je vis à Paris, je suis français. Je voulais savoir quelles sont les opportunités que je pourrais avoir au Canada selon le niveau du salaire. Alors, si vous êtes français, vous avez beaucoup d'options au Canada. En termes de la résidence permanente, en termes des études qui sont gratuites pour vous parce que vous êtes français. Comme vous êtes française, les études sont gratuites à cause du fait que il y a une entente entre la France et le Québec. Comme il y a une entente entre la France et le Québec, vous payez $0 pour frais de scolarité. Et avec les études, si vous complétez une formation professionnelle au Québec, vous pouvez appliquer directement pour la résidence permanente après. Je ne sais pas avec qui vous êtes en train de discuter, mais vous pouvez m'envoyer un message, je peux vous expliquer. Par courriel ou quelque chose, ou parler avec votre agent pour commencer les démarches. Our support, it lasts the whole immigration process. Even when you're in Canada, we are here to help. The fees that we're charging you is for everything. There are no extra fees after, whatever it may be. These are the fees that we're helping you from A to Z. There are whatever fees we tell you are the fees that are in your contract and what you're going to pay. You will not pay for anything else. So as I said, we're going to try to do more webinars in the new year. If you have any questions or anything at all, please reach out to your agent, reach out to myself, always here to help. As I said, it is very important that if this is something that is important to you, that you do the proper verifications for the person with who you're dealing with to make sure that you're dealing with a legal representative to help you immigrate to Canada. That is most important. Whether you deal with us, you deal with someone else, that is the most important thing to do from the beginning. And we're here to help you, guide you in that process to know that we are legitimate and know that we are the people that are able to give you the best possibility, get the opportunity to come to Canada. I thank you all for coming to this webinar. If you have any questions, always available. We will try to do a new one in a few weeks for sure. And I hope to really see you in the office, see you in Canada as soon as possible. Thank you, everyone. Have a great new year. Have a great end of year. And I hope to see and speak to you very soon. Thank you all.